The Jussie Smollett case is the media's dream. Just think about this. Pro-Trump attackers unleash against a poor, innocent victim. The media rushes into his defense. They do some analysis. They blame Trump for the incident. There's just one teeny tiny little problem. Also, the shooting that occurred in Aurora, Illinois just a few days ago is already disappearing from the media's coverage. We'll examine why. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberly. This is a 13-minute news hour.
God bless the United States of America.
All right, let's jump into this Jussie Smollett case because if you haven't followed it, it's fascinating. And it's a perfect example how the media will push a narrative, no matter how false it is, as long as it goes into their idea of pro-Trump supporters being racist, homophobic, you name it. They did that with the Covington Catholic kids when they were on their trip to the pro-life march. And it showed after examination that that story was completely 100% false. These kids did nothing wrong. The media ended up seeing that, and all they had to do was watch a video and learn the truth, but that didn't stop them. They pushed a narrative that goes with their agenda, their left-wing agenda, that pro-Trump people are just bad. So now we have this case of Jussie Smollett, who's an actor on the TV show Empire on Fox. He's black and gay, lives in Chicago, and apparently late January, he was getting a Subway sandwich at 2 a.m. This is his report. And when he came out of the restaurant, he was jumped by two men and who shouted, "This is MAGA country." So they shouted that, tied a rope around his neck, poured bleach on him, beat him, kicked him before, according to Smollett, he fought him off and the two took off. So he called the cops and said that this was, a racist, homophobic attack. They were in addition to beating him, saying all sorts of nasty stuff about him, and the media jumped on it. Chicago police started looking at it, but the media immediately came to his defense. And not only that, but other people put their 2 cents in. And here's just some of the initial reaction when Smollett first reported his case. Take a look at this tweet. This is from a reporter at the Daily Beast who posted this just the day of or the day after the attack. People in MAGA hats recognized and then beat and poured bleach on Jussie Smollett, calling him that faggot from Empire. Anyone who thinks supporting you-know-who isn't tantamount to providing artillery for weaponized bigotry needs to take a hard look in the mirror. You-know-who? It's like it's Voldemort or something. They can't even say Trump's name, but it's obviously that's who Fallon was referring to. And he goes on with a follow-up tweet. Here's his update. Update after learning more. They wore ski masks so as to cowardly not be recognized as they shouted, "This is MAGA country," and probably tied, a rope around his neck like a noose. So, of course, things wouldn't be complete unless Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez jumped into the mix, and here's what she tweeted. "There's no such thing as racially charged. This attack was not possibly homophobic. It was racist and homophobic attack. If you don't like what is happening in our country, then work to change it. It is no one's job to water down or sugarcoat the rise in hate crimes." So that was some of the early reaction. Then ABC jumped on board with an 18-minute interview. You can watch the whole thing online. Just go to YouTube and search for it. 18 minutes of infomercial, basically, painting Smollett as the victim, letting him tell his side of the story. In the meantime, the Chicago police are conducting an investigation to find the actual facts. But that doesn't stop the media from portraying not only Smollett as the victim, but to get out for people to hear that these attackers were pro-Trump, and the reason that Jussie was attacked is because he's so anti-Trump and takes a stand against anything that Trump represents. And so here's some of the interview. Check this out.
What is it that has you so angry? Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks. It's like, at first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth.
All right, so right there kind of sets the tone. I just love it because not only does he feel victimized, but now he's angry because people aren't believing his story, his truth. So here's more.
It feels like if I had said it was a Muslim or a Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot more. And that says a lot about the place that we are in our country right now.
So right there, Smollett is kind of implying that, the Trump supporters stick together, that if it were somewhere else, if he would have said it was black or Mexican, that they would have jumped to his side. But, because he said it was, they were shouting, "This is MAGA country," all of the racist, bigoted Trump supporters stick together. And that's why he's not being believed, because they're all alike. They all stick with Trump. They don't like this guy. They don't like what he represents. And he's not getting a fair shot. So, but he goes on. And the thing is that Robin Roberts never even challenged that. She just let that go so he could get that out there, basically for the audience to soak in that all Trump supporters are like that and they're all sticking together because they're all bad. So here's more.
I come really, really hard against 45. I come really, really hard against his administration. And I don't hold my tongue.
So he went on there, asked directly, why this happened, and it's because he's anti-Trump. So he lays it out. This was a racist, bigoted attack by pro-Trump people because he is anti-Trump. And finally, this little clip.
Just because on the letter it had a stick figure hanging from a tree with a gun pointing towards it, with the words that said, "Smollett Jussie, you will die, black." There was no address, but the return address said in big red, like caps, MAGA. Did I make that up too?
All right, so there he sets the stage again. He brings up the letter and shows that, this is all Trump related. MAGA letter, they shouted, "This is MAGA country," and it's all painting this picture of bad Trump supporters attacking this poor black gay guy. There's just one problem, and that is the facts started to emerge. Okay, so let's just follow this kind of chain of events. First of all, the police release a surveillance photo from that night showing two men all bundled up because it's cold. Smollett was asked about it in the interview, and he said, yeah, those were the guys that attacked him. So police have that. Then they find out who those guys really are. There are two brothers from Nigeria, we'll show them here, that actually worked on the set of Empire as extras, and one of them is also Jussie Smollett's personal trainer. So Smollett is his boss, basically. So after further digging, the police, when this first broke, they asked Smollett to turn over his cell phone so that they could examine phone records or any data that might help. Maybe he caught a video or something happened or this was recorded. Smollett refused to turn over his phone, citing that he has pictures and emails and stuff, basically phone stuff, personal stuff that we all have. But this guy just got attacked by two Trump supporters and he refused to turn over his phone. He later made his own phone records. He made a spreadsheet of phone records and handed that over to the police, who said that was useless because it was heavily redacted, and they ended up obtaining the phone records and looked at the ones that he didn't submit. So after further investigation, it turns out that these two people identified in the surveillance photo, the two brothers from Nigeria, actually bought the rope, and after questioning from the police, they ended up just singing like birds. They ended up saying that Smollett was actually the one who paid them to orchestrate this attack. They even practiced it in advance, and the whole thing was staged, according to them. So then, of course, Smollett got a big high-powered attorney, actually one who would represent Michael Cohen from Trump, and they put out this statement. Said, as a victim of a hate crime who has cooperated with the police investigation, Jussie Smollett is angered and devastated by recent reports that the perpetrators are individuals he is familiar with. He has now been further victimized by claims attributed to these these alleged perpetrators that Jussie played a role in his own attack. Nothing is further from the truth, and anyone claiming otherwise is lying. One of these purported suspects was Jussie's personal trainer, who he hired to ready him physically for a music video. It is impossible to believe that this person could have played a role in the crime against Jussie or would falsely claim Jussie's complicity. So, of course, it's impossible to believe that he would falsely claim it if it's an accurate claim, if they actually did work together. And it's just hilarious because if these guys are the ones who did it, which Smollett at first said in the surveillance photo that it is, but now it's claiming that they didn't work together, this wasn't orchestrated, that would mean that, here's one possible scenario, that these Nigerian brothers said, imagine one of them talking to the other saying, hey man, what do you want to do tonight? I don't know, what do you want to do? Well, I got an idea. My boss, he's probably going to go get a Subway sandwich at 2 a.m. Why don't we grab some rope, grab some bleach, meet him in the alley, punch him, kick him, put the rope around his neck like a noose, pour bleach on him, say it's MAGA country, and call him racist and homophobic stuff. What do you think about that? Would that be cool? Based something to do? I mean, it's absolutely insane, this story. And it keeps getting crazier and crazier by the day. Smollett cries on TV, wanting us to believe him, and the case is unraveling. And it just, I think it's going to end up like a case from Scooby-Doo, where as more information comes out, he's going to be the one that's found to be behind the whole thing. The police have already said, there's more investigation to go, but police have already stated to Fox News, a spokesman said, that Smollett is no longer being considered a victim in this case. So right there, yes, there's more investigation, but that says a whole lot about what's going on. So it shows the media narrative and what's happening. And I want to go to a follow-up case. This is the shooting in Aurora, Illinois that happened just a few days ago. 5 people are dead, 6 others injured, including police officers. But what I find interesting about the case is that although some of the news stories might have mass shootings somewhere in maybe even the headline or deep down in the story, that coverage, you don't see it that much. I scoped out the CNN website, MSNBC websites, all the websites, and the story keeps disappearing. And the use of the phrase mass shooting is disappearing. And you have to wonder, a lot of the places are calling it a workplace incident. And then you start thinking about it, and it's like, okay, this guy was black. He had a handgun. He tried to get a concealed carry permit that was flagged by a background check, and he was told by the state police not to have the gun. Or some police officers sent him a letter saying, you have to turn this gun in. So he was black, had a handgun, and was flagged by a background check. And that really doesn't fit the narrative either of a white AR-15 yielding pro-Trump psycho that goes and kills 5 people, which qualifies as a mass shooting, and yet this is quickly disappearing from our radar. And it just shows once again that the narrative, unless it fits what the media wants to portray, their left-wing message, they will not cover it, or they'll give it a cursory look and then move on. And these are 2 great cases of showing that the media will jump on a narrative that it believes, and it will quickly dismiss a narrative that it doesn't advance their agenda. So there's a lot more out there. We're out of time for today, folks, but I thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends. I'm Bobby Eberly. This is a 13-Minute News Hour.